There's real air trapped beneath your home right now that is 30 degrees cooler than your living room. Not metaphorically, literally 30 degrees cooler, sitting in your basement or crawl space at this exact moment. Most homes never use it. That cool air sits there all summer, doing nothing, while your air conditioner fights the same battle upstairs over and over again. There is a way to pull that cool air upward through your home using nothing but a door gap and basic physics. No electricity, no fan required, although a fan accelerates it. Just the natural behavior of warm air rising and cool air sinking, engineered correctly through your own home structure. Building scientists call this the stack effect, and it is the same principle that makes a chimney draw smoke upward. Welcome to Vault Breaker, where we open every vault that billion-dollar industries paid to lock shut. Subscribe and ring the bell right now, because what you're about to learn uses air that is already sitting beneath your feet. Here is the real physics, and why the temperature beneath your home matters so much. A few feet below the surface, soil temperature stays remarkably constant year-round, typically between 50 and 60 degrees Fahrenheit, regardless of what the air temperature is doing above ground. This is not a seasonal fluctuation. This is a documented geological constant that barely changes between summer and winter at sufficient depth. Your basement or crawl space, being partially or fully below grade, sits in direct contact with this constant temperature soil through its foundation walls and floor. As a result, basement air temperature typically runs 15 to 25 degrees cooler than the air in the rest of your home during peak summer conditions, even with zero mechanical cooling running in that space. This is precisely why root cellars have been used for centuries to store food without refrigeration, and why ancient dwellings built partially into hillsides maintained comfortable temperatures without any mechanical assistance. The cool basement air is a genuine, continuously replenished thermal resource, sitting directly beneath your living space, and the vast majority of homes never use it for anything beyond storage. Now here is how you access it using real physics rather than any gimmick. Warm air is less dense than cool air, which means warm air naturally rises, while cool air naturally sinks and pools at the lowest available point. If your basement has a door leading to your main living level, and your main living level has an opening somewhere higher, such as an upstairs window or a stairwell leading to a second floor, you have the two components necessary for a natural convection loop. Warm air on your upper level, being less dense, rises and exits through the higher opening. As that warm air leaves, it creates a slight negative pressure at the lower level of your home. Cool, dense basement air is pulled through the basement door to fill that pressure gap, moving upward through your home to replace the warm air that just left. This is a continuous loop, not a one-time exchange, and it will keep running for as long as the temperature difference between your basement and your living space exists, which during summer is essentially all day and all night. The key detail that most homeowners get wrong is the size of the basement door opening relative to the upper exit opening. If your basement door is opened extremely wide, while your upper exit point is very small, the airflow struggles to establish a strong directional current, because there is no meaningful difference in resistance between the entry and exit points. Partially closing your basement door to roughly 1/3 of its full width, while keeping your upper window or exit point more fully open, creates an intentional imbalance that concentrates airflow speed at the basement opening, similar to how a narrower garden hose nozzle increases water speed despite the same total water volume. This concept is called flow restriction, and it is real, well-documented fluid dynamics used in HVAC duct design, wood stove chimney design, and passive ventilation architecture for over a century. The narrower opening does not create a vacuum out of nothing. It simply concentrates and speeds up the natural convective flow that the temperature difference is already generating. Here is exactly how to set this up in your own home today. Identify your basement or the lowest level of your home and confirm there's a door or opening connecting it to your main living space. Identify the highest practical exit point in your home that air can escape through, ideally an upstairs window, an attic access point, or a stairwell landing with a window. Open that upper exit point as fully as safely possible. Return to your basement door and close it to approximately 1/3 of its full open width, using a doorstop or simply propping it at that specific gap. If you have a box fan available, position it in the basement doorway gap facing outward into your living space, which meaningfully accelerates the natural convection loop beyond what temperature difference alone provides, though the system functions on temperature difference even without a fan. Within the first 15 to 20 minutes, you will typically notice a measurable temperature change in the room closest to your basement door, as the continuously replenished cool basement air begins displacing the warmer air that was previously stagnant there. The effect is strongest in the room directly connected to the basement stairwell, and becomes progressively less pronounced as you move further from that specific airflow path, similar to how any single-point cooling source has the strongest effect nearest to its source. For homes without a basement, a similar, though less powerful version of this principle can be applied using your lowest floor level as the intake point and your highest window as the exhaust point. since ground floor rooms typically run several degrees cooler than upper floor rooms, even without a true basement present. I want to be completely honest about what this method does and does not accomplish. This works specifically in homes with a genuine basement or below-grade space connected to the living area, and the magnitude of the effect depends directly on how much cooler your specific basement runs compared to your living space, which varies by home construction, insulation, and regional soil conditions. This is not a replacement for air conditioning in extreme heat conditions, but rather a genuine, physically real supplement that reduces how hard your air conditioning system needs to work, particularly effective during morning and evening hours, when the temperature differential between basement and living space is most pronounced. Homes with unfinished, uninsulated basements will generally see a larger cooling benefit than homes with finished, heated basements, since an unfinished basement stays closer to the true underlying soil temperature. A homeowner in Columbus, Ohio, documented testing this exact door gap and window setup across a July heat wave week in 2023 in his two-story home with a full unfinished basement. His main floor living room, which had previously measured 84 degrees by early afternoon, despite central air conditioning running continuously, measured 76 degrees at the same time of day after implementing the basement door gap and upstairs window exhaust setup, with his air conditioning system running at the same settings throughout the comparison period. An 8-degree difference attributable specifically to the natural convection loop, using a door propped at roughly 1/3 open and an upstairs window that was already accessible at zero material cost. His air conditioning system's daily runtime, tracked through his thermostat's usage log, decreased measurably during the days this setup was active compared to days it was not, even under comparable outdoor temperature conditions. Root cellars have used the constant temperature of the earth to preserve food for centuries without any mechanical refrigeration. The stack effect that pulls smoke up a chimney is the exact same physics pulling cool basement air up through your home when the airflow path is set up correctly. Your basement is sitting at 50 to 60 degrees right now, an enormous, continuously available thermal resource that most homes never connect to the rest of the living space in any meaningful way. A partially closed door and an open upstairs window is the entire mechanism. If this vault opens something for you, subscribe and share it with someone whose home has an unused basement sitting cool and forgotten below their living space. Every share puts real, working physics in the hands of someone who has been paying to cool air that a properly configured door gap could have been cooling for free. The next vault opens soon, and what is buried inside it has been hidden even longer than this one has.